Alrighty, welcome everybody to the first official Ball Knower team preview. That's a working title. I have no idea what we're going to call this thing. But we're starting out with, unfortunately, one of my least favorite teams. But we're doing it because we're starting it with one of my favorite people. And that is, of course, TheGeekSlays. Geek, how are you doing today, man?
Doing pretty good. That was a fantastic intro.
Thank you.
Got me feeling all good and stuff.
Thank you.
I like it. How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. Scheduling has been insane so far. We have like 80 people booked over the next 2 months. Yeah.
All right.
I decided if I'm going to do this thing, I'm going all in. Balls to the wall.
Apparently.
Yeah. But I'm excited to do it, and I'm excited to roast the shit out of Minnesota, hopefully.
Yo. Why we got to do that?
Okay, roast the shit out of Kirk Cousins. We'll put it that way.
That's valid.
Yeah. So basically, what we're going to be doing today, as the title that I'm going to figure out, because I'm not uploading this until next week. So the title that I will figure out at some point, as it suggests, we're going to be talking about the Minnesota Vikings, what they've got coming up this season, what they did this offseason, the draft, free agency, bringing in a new head coach, all that good stuff. We're also going to be answering a couple questions. I made a TikTok and I tweeted something out to get questions, so we're probably going to answer about 5 of those, maybe a couple more depending on the time. I'm trying to make this about 60 to 90 minutes, somewhere in that range. That way we can get a good feel, but also not go insane, because I know me and you can talk for hours on end.
Yeah, this could be a 6-hour video if we just rambled.
Right.
100%.
So it's 11:32. We're not allowed to go past 102. That's the goal.
Okay.
That is what we're going to do here. So I don't know. Where do we want to start with this? I've got some notes, so to speak, but I don't really have an outline here.
Hit me with whatever you got, my friend.
Let's open this up with a question from a mutual friend of ours, Jake Talk Sports, who will be on our Packers episode. And Jake asks, if I can find it, why is Kirk Cousins going to win Most Valuable Player this year?
I can promise you he's not.
Go ahead, go off.
Even if the Vikings offense is the greatest offense ever, right? We beat out the 2013 Broncos. We beat out the 2007 Patriots. We beat out the 98 Vikings. The MVP of that team will be JJ or Dalvin.
Right.
100%. It will not be Kirk.
Exactly.
Because everybody, it's just like last year with the Rams. Stafford didn't get the MVP push. Kupp did.
Right.
That's exactly how it would go here. Everyone would know it was JJ who did all the work. Any quarterback could have done what Kirk's about to do if he does it. Because our offense is stacked. Like, it genuinely is. Yeah. So, yeah, he's not. He will never. I know.
All right.
You know.
Speaking of the offense, let's start there. Let's talk about this Minnesota Vikings offense. I will pull up the depth chart real quick, because I do not have it memorized. As I shouldn't. Why would I have this memorized? I don't know the ins and outs of the Vikings, thankfully.
Do you even have the Bears depth chart memorized?
Yes, of course. What kind of question is that? I mean, it's not going to be the same here in 3 months, but I have what it should be memorized.
There you go.
I have what ESPN has it written down as memorized. So, starting out with quarterback, you just went on your little anti-Kirk Cousins rant. Let's elaborate on that a bit. You and I are both very anti-Kirk Cousins. We're not Kirk truthers, so to speak. No,
I think we are Kirk truthers.
Okay.
We're telling the truth.
Okay. We're prophets. We're Kirk Cousins prophets. We know the truth, and we are hated for the truth. You're the one who put me onto the anti-Kirk bandwagon, so why don't you give your little spiel about why he's so bad?
So that's the thing, right? He's not. He shouldn't be. I mean, he has all of the skills to be a top 5 QB in this league. He does have a really good arm and decent vision. I think the biggest flaw in his actual game is his pocket presence. Dude has no clue what's going on when he's in the pocket. Not a clue. Like, oh, I could just step up and then make this throw to Justin. Oh, never mind. I've just fumbled. because I didn't know that Khalil Mack was right here.
Right.
Because he just has no awareness at all. But outside of that, it is entirely his mentality. That's why he's bad. And can't do the things that we see a Justin Herbert or a Brady or a Rodgers do. Because he has come out and said in interviews, it's not my job to want to push the ball down the field. I'm only going to do that when the coach tells me to. I don't want to take deep shots if I don't have to. Bro's afraid to move the ball. And he has, what, a top 5 receiving core in the league? There's no reason he should be afraid to give him a shot. Like, It's Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson. Just huck it towards them. They'll figure it out.
Yeah.
They're the best at it.
Yeah.
Come on.
You have arguably the best deep threat in all of football in Justin Jefferson. I would say he's the best. I think he's the second best receiver overall, period.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't see any reason why that man should not be taking at least 3 to 4 shots a game just on a whim.
Right.
Not design shots, just telling Justin in the huddle, hey, listen, take off. Take off. Exactly.
Right. You run, I'm going to throw it as far as I can. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Like the 98 Vikings. Use JJ like Randy Moss. Every once in a while, just go.
Yeah.
You can't stop you, so just go.
Worst case, I mean, like you said, it's not like Kirk has a bad arm. He's going to huck it, 30, 40 yards downfield. You're going to give them bad field position if they get the ball in their hands.
Right.
It's high risk, high reward type situation. There's nothing wrong with it.
Absolutely.
An arm punt here and there, fuck it, right?
Right. Okay. My biggest thing is no more of this. It's 3rd and 20. Let's run the ball. No, chuck it to JJ. What happens? You throw an interception? Cool. You just punted.
It's an arm punt. Exactly. There's nothing wrong with a good old arm punt.
Care.
Yeah. You don't see the Packers running it on 3rd and 20. They trust Rodgers. You don't see the Chiefs running it on 3rd and 20. You don't see the Chargers running it on 3rd and 20. You don't see any legitimate contending team with an elite quarterback doing this shit. It's teams like Chicago who have question marks. It's teams like Minnesota where Kirk's just like, I'm not going to do it, coach. You're going to have to do something else. It's not going to happen.
I also, though, do wonder how much of that was Zimmer.
Yeah, that's fair.
I wonder how deep into Kirk's head Zimmer got. I'm very intrigued to see how he does with Kevin O'Connell.
As am I.
Because it could be very different. Very. But that's something we'll have to wait and see on, right?
Now, the only thing with that is this Kirk Cousins not wanting to push the ball downfield. This is not a Minnesota exclusive thing. This was going on back in Washington. Jay Gruden, I was reading an article the other day of him talking about Kirk Cousins and saying even in practice, he had to be like, Kirk, it's practice. Throw the ball downfield. If you throw an interception here, it does not matter. And Kirk's still like, well, coach, I want to practice how I play. So throw the ball downfield. Just fucking do it. Like, there's absolutely no excuse for him to play the way he does.
No.
And it's
why I stand by the statement I made on your podcast early in the offseason. We'd be better off with Baker Mayfield.
Okay. I forgot you said that, and I respect it. I respect it. Yeah, because
call the Browns. We'll trade for Baker. You just take Kirk's contract for next year.
Honestly, the situation Cleveland's in, yeah. Kirk for Baker, straight up. Let's make it happen. Because at the very least, Baker's going to go out there and let his nuts hang. He's going to try it. He's got the balls to do it. Exactly. It's not like Odell where he's going to be ignoring him. You can't ignore Justin Jefferson.
And even if you do, it's not like you're ignoring him for Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Right.
It's Adam Thielen.
Right.
Like, yeah. And I don't think Baker would ignore Justin either.
Yeah.
I don't think if you look back at the tape on Baker, I don't know why we're getting into this, but really quick, Baker didn't start ignoring Odell until after, 8 games where all Baker did was force it to Odell and it didn't work.
Yeah. So
then he started ignoring him.
Yeah.
As you would. When it doesn't work, don't keep doing it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. This will be something I will hopefully get into for the Browns episode, but I do not think Baker Mayfield's a bad quarterback at all. I think Baker Mayfield is incredibly overhated. At the very least, he's a starting caliber quarterback in today's NFL. He would start in Atlanta. He would start in Carolina. All these rumors of him going to Carolina. Seattle, yeah. We have very strong feelings against Drew Lock, I'm sure, with you being a Broncos hater.
Yeah. It was really tough when Teddy was on the Broncos.
Yeah. Yeah, speaking of which, you wanna go on your little jersey tangent since we're on a tangent?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. So, first of all, when I sat down to start recording this, it was like, "Oh, you got the Teddy Bridgewater jersey on. Is that the only Vikings jersey you own?" And I was like, "Yeah, jerseys are expensive." But also, the real reason I don't own any other current player jerseys, every time I've ever bought a jersey, within a year the player's no longer on the team. Teddy,
I feel that.
Adrian Peterson, Percy Harvin, Jared Allen even. So I'm not going to buy a Justin Jefferson jersey because he'll be out. I'm not doing it.
See, I refuse to buy current player jerseys most of the time. Now, this past Christmas, I got Roquan Smith and David Montgomery. And if you've been following the Bears, Roquan Smith has rape allegations currently. And David Montgomery, we don't know if he's going to be in Chicago next year. So the one time I made the mistake, because I told my parents, they were like, "What do you want for Christmas?" I said, "Oh, I want these 2 jerseys because I trust these guys. They're cornerstones for the team." Roquan, literally a month later, was in South Africa doing God knows what. And now we've got this whole David Montgomery, will he, won't he fit into the new wide zone scheme? How valuable is he? All that, which, again, we'll get into that on the Chicago episode. But back to Minnesota. Speaking of running backs, we'll go to Dalvin Cook. And we actually have another question based around the running back situation. I've got to find it. So we've got Dylan, I think it's Shalom. It looks like Shalom. So Dylan Shalom at Dylan3rd on Twitter. He says, will Alexander Madison have an increase in workload with Dalvin looking to be a receiving back?
No, I really don't think so. I think Dalvin is, barring injury, obviously, going to knock on wood that doesn't happen. But I think this just means Dalvin's going to be featured even more. I still expect 20 to 25 carries and probably 5 to 8 targets a game for Dalvin. I think they're going to do for Dalvin what was it, 2017, I want to say, Christian McCaffrey? Where he just did everything for that offense. I think that's what Dalvin is going to be this year. And Alexander Madison will probably keep the same workload, 10 to 12 carries a game, and more used almost as a bruiser back, which is weird, but that's what it has been. He gets red zone carries. He gets 3rd and short carries, which is still weird because Dalvin could do that.
Right.
Or the GOAT, CJ Ham, could do that, but it's fine.
We'll talk about CJ Ham here in a couple minutes.
I'm waiting for it.
We'll get there eventually. Don't you worry. Yeah, I gotta agree. I mean, it's Dalvin Cook. He's a top 5 running back. You're not just gonna reduce his workload just because he's gonna start to become a receiving back. That would be goofy. That would be a net negative. Right. It's good that you're getting him involved in the passing game, but you need to also involve him as much as possible in your offense, especially when you have a quarterback that really is not trustworthy. Having a safety blanket like that in Dalvin Cook, which we know Kirk loves his checkdowns.
Yep.
Quick throw to Dalvin Cook. That's perfect for their offense because he's very good at creating in space, and it'll really open a lot of doors for Minnesota, obviously.
I guess I could see an increased snap count from Madison, maybe. They might, if they move Dalvin to the slot for certain plays,
that's true.
Madison might be lined up in the backfield anyway, because I still don't know how much I trust our O-line.
Right.
So Madison or CJ Ham will probably be in the backfield anytime Dalvin's out wide, just as protection.
If you're going for pure protection, you got to keep CJ Ham back there.
Oh,
that
absolutely.
boy is a tank. And that's not me just typing up it was a fullback. Legitimately speaking, CJ Ham is a fantastic blocker.
CJ Ham's great.
Yeah. We'll come back to him. We can't get all the CJ Ham simpage right away. We got to save it. So we'll move to the receiver core, which obviously you have your solidified top 2, Jefferson, Thielen. We don't need to spend a whole lot of time with them. But then it gets a little bit interesting when you get into the depth. You've got BC Johnson. You've got Amir Smith-Marset. I was watching a video to prepare for this of a Vikings fan kind of comparing the two of them, talking about how they got this little camp battle going on. How do you feel about that?
I think it's tough. First of all, you're forgetting the best number 3 receiver in the NFL, KJ Osborne. Thank you very much.
Of course. My apologies. I did forget KJ Osborne.
Come on, 50 catches, 700 yards, and 7 touchdowns last year. Dude's a
really?
menace.
How did I? Okay. Yeah. I don't know why I did not know that.
KJ Osborne is
Okay.
KJ Osborne is that guy.
Okay.
He honestly, depending on when it happens, because Thielen will take a step back at some point. KJ Osborne's probably going to be the number 2 sooner rather than later. And I think he's going to be damn good at it. Okay. I love KJ Osborne.
Well, let's shift this then to a conversation about that wide receiver 4 spot.
Yes.
I completely forgot about KJ Osborne. So, yeah.
Our receiving core is weirdly stacked. Because BC Johnson and Amir Smith-Marset. Marset was... God, was he a 5th-round pick last year? I can't remember off the top of my head what round.
No clue.
But he was fine. BC has been pretty good when he's been able to be on the field. He's just super injury prone. So I could see a world where BC wins the number 4 job out of camp, but then isn't actually able to play, so Amir takes it anyways. Like, I like BC as a player. He's just not reliable enough to stay on the field. He's been on the team since, I think, 2017.
Yeah, he's been around for a while.
Yeah.
Which he used to go by Ola BC, correct?
Ola BC.
Okay.
Now, for some reason, Pro Football Reference doesn't want to bring him up because I don't know why. They just don't.
Fair enough.
Weird.
Oh, also, you guys got Jalen Naylor. I completely forgot about that. He's fun.
We got Jalen Naylor. We also have Albert Wilson and Dan Chisnia.
But he's used as a gunner mostly, right? Isn't that kind of what his role is right now?
Yeah. It's just fun to bring him up.
Well, yeah, he's there. He's there.
He exists. Don't forget my guy.
Speedy Naylor is someone that I didn't watch a whole lot, so I didn't really get to rank him, didn't really get to grade him, anything like that. But the little bit I did see was just fun. That's the best way to describe what I was saying. He was just such a fun football player. And, bringing it back to my Bears, because I'm always going to do this. Get ready for that, because it's going to happen every episode. He was a guy that I was definitely looking for in like the 6th, 7th round if he would have been there for Chicago to take a flyer on with how weak our receiver core is. So for him to go to Minnesota, like you said, with such a stacked receiver room, the depth there really is insane. If someone were to go down, apart from Justin Jefferson, because Justin Jefferson's Justin Jefferson, but like Thielen goes down, Osborne goes down, that next man up is going to be so good for them that they're in such a good position with their receiver core.
When Albert Wilson is currently your 7th receiver on your depth chart, you're doing something right. You're doing something right.
Yeah.
I don't know how good Speedy Naylor's going to be or how much playing time he's actually going to get.
Right.
I don't know. Kevin O'Connell didn't. He wasn't the play caller in LA. I don't know exactly what his offense is going to be. But Speedy could be a great gadget guy.
Yeah.
He just comes in randomly to do weird stuff. And it could be really fun. I also wonder how into the crazy offense a guy like Kirk can be. He seems like I take a 3-step drop and I throw an out route to Adam Thielen. Fuck you. I don't know. He doesn't seem like he could have fun with it.
I don't know. Listen. Kirk Cousins is a fun guy. He dressed up like Buzz Lightyear. He does the gritty. He's a fun guy, okay?
Don't start that weird narrative. He's not a fun guy. He drives a minivan.
He drives a minivan?
That's it. He drives a minivan. It's like a oh God. It's like a 1990-something minivan.
Oh my God. Kirk Cousins is a goddamn enigma.
What the hell is this? Yeah, it's his grandma's van, actually.
Hey, nothing wrong with grandma's van. Mitch Trubisky used to pull up in his grandma's sedan to practice.
See, there's a difference. Mitch Trubisky hasn't made $400 billion.
He's just saving it. He's going to invest it all in Bitcoin like Trevor Lawrence did and lose all of his money.
I hope he lost all of his money already.
Damn. I mean...
Dude, it's so... Oh, God. What is it called?
Oh, my.
Not what is it called, but is it going to tell me what it is? No? All right. Sick. Great article, NBC Sports. Proud of you.
Good shit.
Jeez. But yeah, it is not great. Not great. It's not great.
Yeah. But you know what is great? This tight end room. Very solid tight end room.
It's okay.
I don't know. I like the upside of Irv Smith. I really do.
Irv Smith, I'm very excited about seeing him come off of injury. It's the depth after that.
Fair.
We don't have any.
What?
I'm sorry. Ben Ellefson is not a good player.
What's the name?
He got cut by Jacksonville last year. That's all you need to know. That's what you need to know.
Okay, hold on. What was the name of the tight end you drafted? The
Zach Davidson, maybe.
No, hold on. I've got him written down. Nick Muse.
I don't think that's it.
Nick Muse. Right?
Maybe. I'm apparently missing something because he's not on the depth chart at all.
That's why I asked, because he did not show up on the ESPN depth chart for me.
Huh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, he's the one. Remember that picture of him went viral and he's standing like this and he's got his jersey rolled up?
Oh, okay. Yeah. What the fuck?
I was going to bring him up, but he's not even on the goddamn depth chart.
No, he's not. Fuck. Well, yikes.
Well,
tough time.
Tight end.
When you are below Ben Ellefson.
And Johnny Munt.
But I did hear a rumor today that Kyle Rudolph wants to come back to Minnesota.
Interesting. Okay, that would be big.
I'm down.
Yeah, that would be big. Yeah.
Rudolph the Red Zone Reindeer. I'll take it.
How have I never heard that before?
Really?
That is incredible.
Rudolph the Red Zone Reindeer.
That is incredible.
It's great.
That is truly incredible. But
he still wouldn't be the best red zone target on our team, but that's fine. Hey, I wanted to get into that when we were talking about receivers.
Go for it.
Adam Thielen is so overlooked at that.
Mm-hmm.
In the last 2 years, he has 27 touchdowns.
God damn.
Nobody talks about
Just in the red zone.
Yeah, he had 10 last year's in like 8 games.
God damn.
And then the year before, he had 15. Like, Thielen's that guy still.
Yeah.
His injuries are... I mean, he's not getting big injuries, which is good, but he's getting nicked and missing a game here and there, which is tough. But he's also like 32.
Yeah.
You expect this at this point.
It's just one of those things that's going to come with age. And listen, if you want to talk about anything, just cut me off.
Yeah.
You know that.
Sure.
You know that.
Totally. I was ready to go on to the... You got me on Ben Ellefson, and I was pissed. So... Because I hate it.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Yeah. He's no... Yeah. He got cut while Tim Tebow was still on the roster. I also want to make that clear.
Well, Tebow had like an in. Let's not.
That's true. The same as Carlos Hyde.
Yeah. Let's be honest here. Tebow was on that roster for a reason, and he was going to be there until the last possible second that he could not be.
Yeah, that's valid.
Yeah,
but
Irv Smith Jr. Let's talk about him.
Irv Smith Jr. I'm excited to finally see him get some playing time.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, the beginning of his career, he was behind Kyle Rudolph. And then last year, he was finally going to get to be the guy. And he gets hurt. And I think he was really close to just being replaced. I think if the Vikings could have given Conklin the money he wanted, Irv wouldn't be the starter.
Yeah.
Conklin really stepped up in that role last year. And, yeah. But, I mean, in his career, Irv has been really good. It's just small sample sizes.
Yeah.
And so I do think the reason he's prime for a huge season is nobody's going to pay attention to Irv Smith.
Mm-hmm.
There's too many other guys you have to care about.
Mm-hmm.
Thielen, Osborne, Jefferson, Cook, Madison, even at that point. Irv's the last guy on the list.
Yeah.
He's going to be stuck with what? Maybe your third string or your third overall linebacker covering him? Maybe.
Right.
Like, because you're leaving a safety over the top to help with JJ no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
You can't not. So, yeah. Irv better have a good year at least. I'll be pissed.
Yeah, and I'm sure he will, especially with, bring it back to Kirk. Again, I feel like that's going to happen every 5 minutes. We're just going to fucking bring it back to Kirk.
Yep.
when you have a quarterback like that is addicted to his checkdowns and his short throws, and say whatever you want about his fucking yards per attempt or whatever, go fuck yourself. Okay, I don't care. He likes his checkdowns. Kirk likes his checkdowns. Captain Kirk likes to be Captain Checkdown. Yep. And Irv Smith is one of those guys that you can hit in the flat and let him kind of do a little something after he gets the ball in his hands.
Yep.
And that's going to be huge for them because, like you said, you can pretty much clear out. Send Thielen and Jefferson deep. Send Cook the other way. Leave Thielen by himself, like you said, with like your third linebacker on the other on the defense. Dear God, Smith is going to cook that guy and get you a first down every time. It's going to be huge for him. And like you said, it's the perfect situation for a tight end like that to be in to really establish himself. And this time next year, we're going to be looking at Irv Smith as like a top 10 tight end.
I think so, 100%.
Which terrifies me, but it's true.
Oh, God. Imagine if Irv is that guy. The Vikings offense is just insane. Again, the only thing holding it back, number 8.
Yeah.
I think I'd rather have number 5.
Yeah.
No, I don't think. I'd rather have number 5.
Teddy Two Gloves. The man, the myth, the legend.
The Terrell Owens meme. That's my quarterback.
Now you got to remember, while we're hyping up all these receivers, hyping up all these offensive threats, if they have big years, Kirk's lined up for payday again.
I don't think so.
I really hope not. For your sake, I really hope not.
The front office there's a reason he got a 1-year prove-it deal.
Fair enough.
Still $45 goddamn million, but I don't think our front office will care. They won't care that, he put up 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns.
But we won 8 games.
And we went 9-8.
Right.
He'll be done.
Right.
It doesn't matter how good your numbers are. In this league, it's about winning.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully this front office is smart enough to realize that. I don't know what it was about the old front office, but they weren't.
The only thing that concerns me, Kwesi is an analytics guy, right? Wasn't he one of those analytics guys?
Yeah.
What's Kirk Cousins?
I think that's true. I don't know, man. I don't love it.
Yeah. Like
we're in a bad spot, if I'm being honest.
Again, back to the Bears. That when Kwesi was someone that people were talking about for Chicago, that was my biggest turnoff from him. And there were a couple guys like that are these big analytics guys. And I know it's becoming more and more prevalent in football. And it's fine to look at the analytics. But if you're one of these guys that's like your focus, that's what you're zoned in on, kind of like Kwesi seems to be. Am I saying it right? Is it Kwesi or Kwesi?
I think it's Kwesi.
Okay. Like Kwesi seems to be.
Yeah.
It's not good. It's not good. Because at the end of the day, football is what you're seeing on the field. And you're better off seeing it than looking at some numbers that were created by a guy with a pencil at a desk in the middle of fucking Idaho. Like,
right.
You need to be watching what's going on. Tape over everything. The eye test does not fail if you know the sport. And these GMs, hypothetically, should know the sport, or at least have people around them that can tell them that.
That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Is maybe he is purely a numbers guy.
Right.
But if he is, hopefully he has the people around him to go, he's not that guy.
Right.
He doesn't have the dog in him.
Right.
We need that guy.
Exactly. That's the perfect way to describe Kirk Cousins. He simply does not have that dog in him. And if you do not have that dog, and you cannot survive in the NFL and win.
Here's the way I think of Kirk Cousins. He's Matthew Stafford without the dog.
Yeah.
He really is.
Perfect.
Like, I don't think he's Rodgers or Mahomes level talented, but he's close to Stafford.
Yeah.
He just doesn't have it.
Right.
He doesn't have that thing.
Yeah. Kirk Cousins is not a guy that's going to have his shoulder get separated and then lead a touchdown drive to win the game.
No.
It's not going to happen.
No.
It's just not. Kirk Cousins is not
my favorite video ever.
It's so great.
You want me to throw? I can throw.
It's so incredible. It really is.
When the coach says no, he goes in anyways. Yeah. He's like, fuck you.
To go off topic a little bit, since we're just talking about everyone else in the NFC North as well.
That's what we do.
Yeah. I made a TikTok the other day because I asked a question on Twitter, who is the NFL equivalent of Game 6 Klay Thompson? And Stafford, after he got hurt, was one of the responses. And I think that's the perfect comparison. Matt Stafford with an injury is that guy. Like top 5 quarterback
and the one
ever.
Nico put out.
Yeah, Tom Brady with his head down like that. Yeah,
Tom Brady, when he puts his head down, it's done. Game.
And then another one I got a lot was game 1 Sammy Watkins, because apparently the last 2 years he has like 270 yards and 3 touchdowns across week 1, which is insanity.
Who do the Packers got week 1?
Not us, thankfully. I don't think it's either of us. I think we're both safe. You might not be. I know we're safe.
It is the Vikings.
Oh no, Andrew Booth is going to get torched week 1.
No, it's Patrick Peterson. Well, what is Sammy? Is Sammy the receiver 1?
I don't think so.
What?
Maybe week 1 he
right
is.
Now, maybe not, but he might be by then.
Maybe just week 1. But like beyond that, I don't think he will be.
I don't know.
That's going to be a fun conversation.
Put Cam
tomorrow.
Dantzler on him.
Don't do that. I'm trying to push a pro Cam Dantzler narrative here to make myself look smart.
But think about it this way: if Cam Dantzler shuts down week 1 Sammy Watkins, you win. That's your narrative.
That's my narrative.
That's your in.
That's my in. That is how I established myself on NFL TikTok. I called Cam Dantzler's uprising. Which, speaking of which,
we both called it, but
Shh, it was my idea.
Hey, no. I'll leak the DMs, bro.
Listen, I had the idea and I was checking with you. I came to you and I was like, hey, how do you feel about Cam Dantzler? Because I think he's got that dog in him. And you're like, well, yeah. I think he's all right. But then you brought up the slot corner.
I brought up lots of things.
Yeah. And then But speaking of the breakout thing, I was looking at my TikTok yesterday and I forgot to do safeties. And it's been a week since I posted the Cam Dantzler one. So I'm a week behind on that. And I still don't know what safety I would pick. Like I went into it and I had a name. I can't do 2 Vikings. I simply cannot.
You can.
I simply cannot.
You can.
I simply cannot.
Go back to tight ends and throw Irv Smith in there. He's going to be better
than
Cole Kmet.
I'm a Cole Kmet truther. Anyway, yeah, let's look at this offensive line. Okay. Go ahead. I can tell you have very strong opinions.
No, so I think, honestly, 4 out of the 5 spots are solidified. We know who is starting.
Mm-hmm.
You got Darrisaw at left tackle,
mm-hmm.
Ezra Cleveland at left guard. As much as I hate to say it, I'm 99% sure Garrett Bradbury is our starting center next year. Now, hopefully, because what I know of, at least what the Rams offense was, and that's, again, me hoping that KOC is at least close to that, having the smaller but more athletic center is what the Rams do.
Yeah.
So that might work.
Absolutely.
For Zimmer's offense, it didn't. It wasn't Zimmer's offense, but the former offense, we needed a big
offense
center
you were running, because that was definitely an offense.
Yeah. But Bradbury didn't fit that mold. Hopefully he fits better under KOC.
Mm-hmm.
And then our right tackle is obviously the Pro Bowler Brian O'Neill.
Mm-hmm.
He's solidified.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think so is Darrisaw. We used a high ass.
I love Darrisaw. I think Darrisaw is going to be a star. Darrisaw is going to be a franchise tackle for you guys. I like Darrisaw a lot.
So it really comes down to our right guard spot, and we have a lot of names.
Yeah. And
I don't know if I love any of them.
Really?
So we have Jesse Davis,
mm-hmm.
Ed Ingram, was he a second or third round pick?
Second.
He was either late second or early third.
Late second.
Can't remember.
It was late second.
I
have it written down.
Thank you. I didn't like the guy, so I kind of threw him out of my mind. I don't like him as a human, so I don't.
Oh yeah, he did do some weird stuff, didn't he?
Yeah,
I forgot about that. We talked about that before.
Kind of. I don't want to say. I don't know how to talk about it without sounding like a dildo, so I'm just gonna move on.
Here, let me look into this so I can talk about it, and I'll sound like the dildo because it's my show.
There you go.
So you continue.
No, so I looked into it quite a bit, and I don't know. It's not a great situation, but I also don't know if it's.
Oh.
At least the one article I read, I don't know if it's as bad as people made it out to be, but it's still not good.
He faced 2 counts of sexual assault in 2018 before the charges were dropped. And they were 2 felony counts of aggravated and sexual assault of a minor. Now, is this
the only thing that made it? I don't know the whole story. He was also like 16 or 17. He was
16, and they were both under 14.
It makes it a little less worse.
You know what I mean?
It's still not good, but it's not like he was 21 and
it's not pedophilia, but it's still sexual assault.
That's what I was talking about. Yeah.
So bad, but not.
Part. It's still bad, but it's not. I don't know how to say.
He's not touching kitties.
As
an adult.
Right. He was also a child.
Yeah. Still not great, though.
No, not good at all. I'm not defending that.
Obviously not, no.
It was just more of a... Some people were calling him a pedophile, and it's like, that's not what it was.
Right.
Now, shitty human that did really shitty thing, yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Pedophile, no.
Yes.
But, so, Ed Ingram's there. Chris Reed is there.
Where did Chris Reed come from? I've never heard of this man.
Chris Reed, if I remember correctly, he was on the Colts last year.
I could just tap his name and find out.
Yeah, well, that didn't tell me as much as I wanted it to.
Minnesota, he's 29 years old, so he's been around the block.
So he was in Jacksonville from 2016 through 2019, through 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Started a total of 8 games in Jacksonville. Went to Carolina and was traded to, Miami and was traded to Carolina, I believe. And then last year spent time with the Colts where he started 6 games. I can't remember if it's Reed off the top of my head. I know there is a battle for the center position. I just can't remember if it's Reed and Bradbury or Davis and Bradbury.
Okay.
It's Davis and Bradbury.
Okay.
Because he has played some center in his career.
Okay.
Which I could see happening. But I think my personal favorite of the offensive linemen we could start at our right guard is actually the guy who's listed number 2 at left guard, Wyatt Davis.
Okay.
I really liked Wyatt Davis coming out of college. We never got to see him last year because Zimmer has his whole thing with you don't play rookies if you don't have to.
Garbage.
Which is awful.
So, yeah.
I mean, remember, Justin Jefferson didn't start for like 4 games.
Mm-hmm.
Because Zimmer.
Goofiest shit in the world. Absolutely goofy.
Gotta earn your place on my team.
I am so glad, again, to bring it back to the Bears, I am so glad Matt Eberflus has already said that he's not buying into that bullshit. If you're the best player, you're going to play. And that's how it should be. Plain and simple, that's how it should be. You should, apart from quarterbacks, I can see sitting your quarterback, but any other position, you play the best guy no matter what.
100%. 100%.
Mm-hmm.
So I like Wyatt Davis, but I have a feeling it'll end up being either Reed or the other Davis, Jesse.
Okay.
Just because experience.
Right.
I'm also holding out hope that the Vikings will man up and go sign J.C. Treader.
Well, unfortunately, he's a future Chicago Bear, so I don't know how that's going to work.
He doesn't fit your timeline, I'm sorry.
He fits our timeline for a year so Justin Fields doesn't die.
No, he fits our timeline. We're trying to be good right now. You're trying to be good in 10 years. Scoot away.
Okay, well, we can take a year of an old center to make sure Justin Fields doesn't die.
See, no, because he wants to try to win, which is why Minnesota's not probably his answer either.
I was getting ready to say, if he wants to win, he's not going to Mini. But when we're able to offer him double what you're able to offer him, might be a different story.
That's true, and we're trying to sign Ndamukong Suh right now, so...
Really? I haven't heard anything about that. I've only heard about the Raiders looking at him.
I heard it today.
Interesting.
It was, yeah.
Interesting. Well, at least
apparently the Vikings are the only other team in the running. It's the Raiders and the Vikings.
So, in other words, he's going to be a Raider, because that would be the smart decision.
No, it would not.
I have way more faith in the Raiders than I do the Vikings.
The AFC is way too tough. The Vikings are a playoff team.
Yeah.
They wake up tomorrow, they're a playoff team.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
The Raiders aren't a playoff team. They're not guaranteed to be a playoff team.
I was going to say.
That's what I meant.
Okay.
I
think they're a playoff team.
I love the Raiders.
You're right.
So, if he wants a chance, Minnesota. And also, where's he going to... I guess both teams have the less attention. Both teams have good pass rushers, so either way, he's not getting attention drawn to him at all.
Yeah. Which is why he'll just fuck around and go back to Tampa Bay.
I don't think so.
Nope, it's going to happen.
Tampa already technically replaced him.
They got Hicks. Yeah, he's their replacement, but it doesn't matter. It's Tampa. They'll find a way.
No, he wants to come back to Minnesota and shit on Detroit for 2 games a year.
Okay. I can respect that. I'll get behind it.
Yeah. And I'm not going to get into that. I was going to be like, nothing against Detroit. Nah, fuck Detroit.
Detroit's the only goddamn team in this division I don't hate, other than Chicago.
That's fair, but also, I don't know, they beat us last year and it pissed me off.
They beat us? Was it last year? I think they beat us.
No, you beat them on Thanksgiving.
So it was the year before when they beat us. They beat us the year before they strip sacked Mitch Trubisky in his last year. That's what it was.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. Fuck that game, but lies are valid otherwise. Anyways, Vikings O-line. I don't have any thoughts on it. I really don't know who the fuck these people are. Half of them.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I think our offensive line is going to be much better than it was last year, which is good. Just like the Bears, we were also a bottom 5 O-line. Well, a bottom 5 passing O-line. For some reason, we were good in the run game.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's really our O-line or Dalvin goddamn Cook, but
that's
whatever.
Ironically exactly how I felt about Chicago last year. I didn't know if it was the O-line or if it was David Montgomery and Khalil Herbert being legitimately good running backs. Even though obviously they're not on the same level as Cook, but they're still they're still dogs. Yeah.
Right. Even the Steelers O-line rated pretty high in the run game. It's like, because Najee's valid.
Yeah.
That's how this is going to go.
Yeah. O-lines are weird to evaluate. They really are. And I feel like, we've talked about this before. I feel like that's why PFF is so beloved for their O-line rankings, because they kind of get it right. At least
normally a pretty good job.
Yeah, like they're not bad at it, and people just kind of run with it. But yeah, O-line, I mean, I'm not trying to say it's not important, but obviously, because it's arguably the most important thing on a field at any given time. But everything going on around it can make it look so much better or so much worse. The scheming, the quarterback, depending on how quickly they can get the ball out. That you have these guys that get the ball out in 0.2 seconds. The O-line's going to be rated highly. These great running backs, things like that. It's all weird. I feel like it's a lot easier to, with a good team around them and a good coach, it's easier to disguise a bad offensive line than most other positions.
Look at what the Bengals did last year. Theirs might have been the worst.
Yeah.
And they still went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And could have won it. I mean, it was their offensive line that kind of lost
it for
them.
There was no way.
Aaron Donald and Von Miller, thank you.
Yeah.
That's the... I don't care what offensive line it was.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the 90s Cowboys. You're not stopping that.
Exactly.
Donald and Miller smelled the ring. You could put a building in front of them and it would have crumbled.
Yeah, I made that TikTok a couple days ago where I said that the Jamar Chase meme aged poorly, but it didn't because the Bengals' offensive line was bad. Penei Sewell's a great football player.
I'm going to go stitch that video. I'm going to go stitch it and yell about it.
Penei Sewell's a great football player. Don't get me wrong. And he did have a good game against Aaron Donald. But playing the Lions in the regular season playing the Rams in the regular season is different from playing them on the final drive of the goddamn Super Bowl. Yeah. What is happening?
Was it 4th down in the Super Bowl?
It was
4th down on the make or break it. We're winning or we're losing the Super Bowl right here.
Yeah.
Jalen Ramsey fell down. If Donald doesn't get there, the Bengals just won the Super Bowl.
Exactly. But cut back to Minnesota here. Keep getting away from them. I'm finding every excuse in the book to not talk about the Vikings.
It's fine. I just like football. I'm down to talk here.
I feel you, but the point of this video is the Vikings. This is the only time where we have to stay on an actual topic and we're not allowed to get off topic, even though we are, and it's kind of hard to prevent. But we're gonna introduce a little segment for these videos.
Ooh,
a segment. I don't have any fancy intro for it. But this is a segment I like to call, Is This Team Valid? And the only requirement is having a fullback. Do the Minnesota Vikings have a fullback? They do. They're valid. Let's talk about CJ Ham. I love him.
Got the best fullback in the league.
No.
Yeah. You know why you think Kyle Juszczyk's better?
Because
he has Kyle Shanahan, and that's it.
He plays a bigger role in their offense and does more for them.
That's because it's Kyle Shanahan's offense, not Gary Kubiak's kind of offense.
I'll put it this way.
Passed to Kubiak's
put it this way.
Who liked throwing checkdowns on third down.
I think CJ Ham is the most athletic fullback in football. I'll give him that nod. Absolutely. He is almost a running back playing fullback in that regard. He's a stellar blocker as well. But I think Juszczyk is a better blocker, and I think his football IQ is a lot higher, which puts him ahead of it. Because when I'm thinking fullback, running the ball is important. But when I'm thinking of fullback, their main goal is to be that lead blocker, is to set up your offense, to allow other people to create. That's why I love the fullback so much, because it's such an unselfish position. You don't need the big flashy plays to be good. You just need to go out there and crack somebody, and you're doing your job. And I think when it comes to finding a guy and cracking him to set up a play, there is not a better player in the NFL other than Kyle Juszczyk. And the only guy who comes close is Pat Ricard. And Pat Ricard is just because he's a defensive lineman playing fullback, and he just hits somebody and they fall over because you cannot stop 300 pounds of mass.
Fair. See, I think it's all in the offense.
Fair enough. I mean,
even
it
as
is
a lead blocker,
it.
CJ Ham doesn't get used that much.
Yeah.
But it is great to see number 30 trot out on that field. It does make me happy every time.
And like I said,
I've also seen number 30 make some crazy, insane catches.
Yeah.
He's... I think he might be a better receiver than Juszczyk.
I'll give him that.
Blocker, I think I'll agree it is Juszczyk. And then football IQ is tough because we don't get to see CJ Ham do that enough.
Fair enough. That's fair. So, I can understand that.
But I mean, based off of what we've seen, obviously it is Juszczyk. Yeah. But it's tough to say for certain.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Fair. But like you said, with what we have, that's all we can base it off of.
Right.
I'm giving it to Juszczyk.
Yeah.
But that being said, CJ Ham's that dude. Straight up, he is that dude. It makes me very sad that he plays in the purple and yellow. I'm not gonna lie.
It makes me very sad that he plays in the same conference as Kyle Juszczyk, because he only has one Pro Bowl, and that's probably all he'll ever get.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know. In the AFC, it would be kind of hard too, because you got to go up against Pancake Pat.
CJ Ham better. CJ Ham solos. Sorry.
All right. Well,
his name is Ham, bro.
That's been all for this episode. I'm gonna have to finish this one by myself.
Oh, that's tough. That's tough. I'm getting kicked.
Yeah, we're gonna have to spread some Cam Dantzler narratives by myself and talk about how the Minnesota Vikings are gonna win 3 football games next year. Anyways, Geek, it's been great having you on. Thank you for your time.
It. Yeah, no. I also was. Do you remember Jerome Felton? I don't know why his name popped into my head.
I remember the name. I do.
He might be the best fullback of all time. I mean, he was Adrian Peterson's lead blocker when he had the best running back season to ever happen. So, Jerome Felton.
Did Jim Brown never play?
Jim Brown is tough. I don't know if... You cannot rank him as a top 5 running back and then say he's a fullback. Which one is it?
That's fair. I call him a fullback because I'm biased. But even
most people call him a running back.
Okay, well, if we're going to take Jim Brown out of the equation, what about Larry Zonka? What about Mike Allstott? What about Jim Taylor, who won a goddamn MVP award as a fullback?
That's valid.
What about Bronco Nagurski, who's one of the greatest blocking and running
fullbacks? Did either of them ever
lived?
Block? See, but did he ever block for the best running back season of all time?
No. But, I mean, one of them won the goddamn MVP award.
Don't worry, Jerome Felton was never good outside of that 1 year,
One of them blocked for a running back in an undefeated season. One of them is like the last true fullback. Then Bronco Nagurski was just Bronco Nagurski. He's just got a fun name.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. I'm done pushing weird Jerome Felton narratives for no fucking reason. Well, I don't know what that was.
Okay, well, that's the end of that little segment. It wasn't even really a segment.
I got owned by the fullback king of TikTok.
Yeah, The certified fullback truther of TikTok. That's my title.
CJ Ham's still better, though.
I am the law of the land when it comes to fullbacks, and what I say goes, and I say CJ Ham is third at best. Fourth at worst.
Second, take it or leave it.
I'll give him
Actually, no. Second, take it.
I'll give him 2B. That's the highest I can go.
I like it. Great.
All right. Anyways, let's transition to the other side of the football. The legendary Vikings defense that is hated by many and is apparently the only reason why Kirk Cousins is not a top 10 quarterback to every casual NFL fan. How do you, just as a whole, we'll just start there. How do you feel about that defense as a whole right now?
So, positionally, I really like it. I think we have a lot of good players in a lot of spots. I don't know enough about our new defensive coordinator. I don't know.
Who is your new DC?
I don't know. Off the top of my head, I'm dumb. So,
valid.
I'll be honest.
I feel that.
So, okay, it's not who I thought it was at all. That's interesting. Ed Donatel.
Okay.
That is not who I thought our DC was, so that better.
Okay.
It makes me feel a little better. My actual bigger question is I don't know how well the 3-4 is going to work.
Oh, yeah,
Making
you guys
Danielle
are completely
Hunter a
flipping,
linebacker, I don't know how I feel about that.
Okay.
That's not what Danielle Hunter does.
I didn't know you guys were switching. I did not know that.
We're 3-4 now.
Okay.
That's also why I want Ndamukong Suh really bad.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, that would be perfect for Sue. And, I mean, it works better for Smith. It's going to be a lot better for Za'Darius Smith, because I don't think, was he ever an end for Green Bay, or were they always running a 3-4 when he was there?
So.
I don't think he was either.
I'm not the Packers fan, so I don't know.
Right. I'll have to ask, a little flex, I'll have to ask Theo Ash that tomorrow.
Yeah, you fucker. Theo didn't respond to my DM, the bastard. I'm going to push some anti-Theo Ash narrative.
How dare you? Do not question the TikTok thought leader.
I have to. He didn't respond to my DM.
Speaking of TikTok, I got another question for you.
Oh, God.
From my boy Game of Inches 47, who will be coming on for one of our episodes, the Buccaneers episode. He says, this is word for word, by the way. How much does the person you chose trust Danielle Hunter in all aspects? In parentheses, ability to stay healthy, how he will do coming off injury.
Ability to stay healthy is tough.
Yeah.
Because he struggled recently with that.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair, it was like a neck injury.
Yeah.
So, tough. But I think if he's on the field, I gotta roast your boy Nico for a minute.
Oh, no. I know where you're going with this.
He missed big. Danielle Hunter is without a doubt a top 10 edge rusher when he's healthy.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get... My biggest thing was you don't get to put Khalil Mack on the list because, he performed well in those 6 games. Danielle performed better in his 6 games. And he's, 6 years younger.
Is he really that young?
I think he's 27.
In my brain, age-wise, I always get him and Everson Griffin flipped.
Sorry. He is 28, and he's been in the league since 2015.
That is insane.
Remember, he was the youngest player ever to 60 sacks. Danielle Hunter is that dude.
Mm-hmm.
I think the thing is, he didn't play in 2020, and then he got hurt after 7 games last year. So there's this weird, you kind of forget he exists.
Mm-hmm.
But he is that dude.
Right.
100% that dude. If he's on the field all 17 games, not used to saying that.
Right.
If he is on the field all 17 games, he will probably be in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation next year. I'm willing to bet on that.
Yeah.
Even if he plays 15 games, he'll be in that conversation.
Yeah.
Especially with Za'Darius Smith on the other side. And if we add Sue, there's just going to be so many parts there.
And even if you don't have Sue, Dalvin Tomlinson and Jalen Twyman are not a bad duo down there. And Harrison Phillips as well.
I was going to say, that's not even...
I forgot. I missed Harrison Phillips. Yeah. So the three of them down there, I mean, adding Sue obviously bolsters it, but you don't need him hypothetically. And your linebackers look a lot better than they were last year. You got Jordan Hicks as your kind of second guy. Your DBs are going to be a lot better. I mean, I'm just saying, as a whole, the defense looks better. So Everson Griffin, Jesus Christ, Everson Griffin.
It's going to be better.
Danielle Hunter, if he is to stay healthy the entire year, absolutely, I can see him being in that Defensive Player of the Year category. Absolutely.
Speaking of Everson Griffin, though, if he decides to continue playing football, it will be in purple.
Yeah.
That's the only place that is, first of all, going to take him.
Yeah.
Because of, his mental
Unfortunately.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. If he decides he's good enough to come back, though, it'll be in purple.
Right.
Like, write him down as, on the team, but just not playing.
Right.
Because he's not playing anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
He tried that once and he hated it.
Yeah, where'd he go? Dallas?
Minnesota is his home. Dallas and Detroit.
Oh, he did spend a little bit of time in Detroit. You're right. I just remember him with Dallas, because didn't he outright say he didn't like being a Cowboy? Wasn't that the team he called out? Okay. Yeah.
And speaking of linebackers, I don't love Jordan Hicks.
Well, that's not good, because Brian Asamoah. Yeah. Which, did he end up in New York?
Because those were the two. He hasn't ended up anywhere as far as I know, which is wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a free agent still, and I haven't heard a single rumor.
Maybe he just
I don't think he's gotten a single offer.
Maybe he doesn't want to play.
I don't know. Maybe. But I would have much rather had Anthony Barr. That was my dude.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kick myself down. When we got him, I was super pumped because I thought he was going to be better than Khalil Mack. Back then, during that draft, I was like, we got the better player. Let's go. And then we never used him in the role he had in college, which was goofy. So he never got really the chance, but I loved Anthony Barr. And Jordan Hicks is just meh. He's the definition of meh.
It could be
Tackle
worse.
merchant.
Tackle merchant. I mean, is it not? I don't think he's terrible in coverage or anything. It's not like he's a net negative out there. At the very least,
he's worse than Barr.
Well, yeah, true,
and way worse than Kendricks.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but Kendricks is
probably anyways. The best coverage linebacker in the league.
Right,
so.
Right. Oh,
but
unfortunately,
I don't love Jordan Hicks.
Unfortunately, and here's where I'm going to push a little narrative. If Jordan Hicks isn't that guy for y'all, if he can't step it up, I don't love what you have behind him. I am very much a Brian Asamoah doubter, a Brian Asamoah hater.
Watch the tape.
I did.
And tell me
That's why I didn't like him. That is exactly why I didn't like him.
Have you ever watched Eric Kendricks tape? Do you not like Eric Kendricks?
I like Kendricks because it works for him, right? I just don't know how it's going to translate to the NFL for Asamoah.
The dude with the exact same play style as Eric Kendricks gets to learn from Eric Kendricks.
Right. But my big thing with Asamoah is his tackling.
Valid.
The way he tackles is not going to work. Yeah, I'm not denying he's a very athletic linebacker. He's smart in coverage. Absolutely. All that comes from being a converted safety. But if you're a linebacker that cannot tackle, why are you on the field? Maybe that's the old head in me coming out. Maybe that's what that is.
He can learn.
He better. Because the way that man tackles right now is not going to work at the NFL level. That's my concern with Asamoah. Everything else, perfectly fine. No issues whatsoever. But the tackling just takes him so far down for me.
That's fair.
And my big thing is,
the only reason
when you hit the NFL level, you pretty much have set up here your fundamentals, your motor skill. You're going through the motions type thing. And you can tweak it, you can fix it, but how many guys have we said that about that it just didn't work? How many guys have we said that about that it just doesn't happen?
Do I do it?
Oh, no.
Didn't your quarterback just have to relearn all of his fundamentals?
I mean, sure.
Didn't Josh Allen just have to relearn all of his fundamentals?
But they're unicorns.
And let's also be honest. Again, he's a coverage linebacker.
Right.
He doesn't have to be...
But he still needs to be able to tackle.
And I think he will get there. I don't think he will ever be, Darius Leonard.
And I'm not expecting that from him.
But he can be Anthony Barr.
I mean, he's going to have to do a lot to get there. And like I said,
I hope he does. The only issue I had with the Brian Asamoah pick wasn't Brian Asamoah himself. It was the guy who was still on the board.
Leo Chenal.
Yes. My linebacker 1 in this draft.
Yeah, my LB2. I love Chenal.
Skipped him.
Yeah. One of the biggest skills of the draft. I'm so glad you guys did not get him. I am so glad you did not. I'm sorry, but I did not want to have to go up against
Kendricks,
him. Right,
bro.
exactly. Exactly. I did not want to have to deal with that. Also,
and I hate that. Well, Chenal can't cover. Good. We have our coverage guy.
Who gives a fuck? Who cares? Exactly. You have Kendricks. You don't need him to cover. And honestly, maybe
also.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you're good.
I was going to say,
your point,
maybe I'm crazy and maybe I'm way off base with this, and if I am, yell at me. But I trust a linebacker learning how to play in coverage better than I do completely reworking his fundamentals in tackling.
That's valid.
Because coverage is just knowing it. Coverage, it doesn't take a whole lot physically. You just got to be able to read it. You just got to be able to perform it.
You have to learn it.
Right. Yeah, and you can be taught that. But when it comes to tackling, like I said, it's so deeply ingrained in you when you get to that level that it is so hard to take it apart and rebuild it. And I'm not saying it's impossible. Obviously, like you said, Josh Allen, Justin Fields, they've done it. But it's extremely difficult. And not everyone is up to the task. So I'm not just going to write it off as, oh, well, he'll fix it. He has the chance to. He has the ability to. But if he doesn't, it's going to be scary.
The one thing I will say about coverage is it's a lot easier to learn it to be okay at it.
Yeah.
He's at, Leo Chenal will never be Eric Kendricks in coverage. He can't be.
And he doesn't need to be.
Because there is that innate talent and that innate thing that you have.
Absolutely.
And he doesn't. Now he can become again Anthony Barr.
Right.
He was fine, but he wasn't that guy. Mm-hmm. Right. You can't learn that. But also, even outside of Asamoah, we have Blake Lynch, who I do really like.
I know nothing about him. Yeah,
he's a no name basically, and Chaz Surratt.
Love my boy Chaz. I was just about to bring up Chaz, my UNC guy.
Yep.
Him and Ty Chandler being in Minnesota breaks my heart. I love both of them deeply. Chaz was, I can remember last.
I don't know how long Chandler will be in Minnesota.
I don't think he'll last long either. I really don't. As much as I hate to say it, I really don't think he will.
I mean, because I just don't see us keeping 5 total backs on our roster. Because CJ Ham's solidified, and I'm sorry, we're not moving Kene Nwangwu off the roster.
No, he's too good as a returner.
Probably the second best returner in the league right now behind Cordell Patterson.
Right. There's
so you can't get rid of him.
Oh, no, maybe if they want to write off Keeney, or is it Keeney or Kenny?
Kene.
Kene. It sounds like how Forrest Gump says Jenny.
Tough name.
Kene.
Yeah.
Kene, yeah.
Kene Nwangwu.
Yeah.
My favorite name to scream at the top of my lungs in the NFL.
Maybe they can write it up as Kene is just a returner. But I don't know. Do you guys use him in the backfield a lot? That's probably a goofy question that I should know the answer to.
Not a ton.
I didn't think so.
Also, it was our old offense. He has crazy speed.
Right.
And KOC might want to use that more than Kubiak did.
Yeah. Which, as a side note, real quick, the way these offenses now operate with these gadget players that are basically nothing but speed and vision, it makes me so sad that Devin Hester didn't play today. Because back in his era, he was nothing, right? He was okay as your wide receiver 4. In today's era, oh my God, he would be insane as an offensive threat. He would be so much fun.
Yeah.
He would be so much fun.
And now imagine a guy who even back then was good, but imagine him now. Percy Harvin.
Yeah.
Imagine Percy Harvin with McVay or Kyle Shanahan.
Listen. Devin Hester in a Kyle Shanahan offense is a wet dream of mine.
Yes.
That is like football porn for me, literally. Because for those who don't know, obviously someone who loves fullbacks, I have a deep obsession with Kyle Shanahan and his offense. It is beautiful. The way everything works, I will go off in the 49ers episode for 40 minutes about how much I love it.
I hope you do.
The way everything from the tackle doing things like Trent Williams doing things his body should not be able to do, to Kyle Juszczyk doing his thing, and the way the line shifts and Deebo Samuel coming across. It's all just beautiful. There's so many moving parts that blend together perfectly, and it's beautiful. And Luke Getsy, our new offensive coordinator in Chicago, has said that he is taking inspiration from that for Chicago, which is, yes, please put it directly in my mouth, please.
Who is that guy? Who's your Deebo gonna be?
Velus.
You don't have one.
Velus.
No.
He's not the bruiser that Deebo is, but he's got that quick open field agility to be able to do things. He's never going to be as good as Deebo, but he can play that role.
Speaking of seeing Devin Hester in an offense like that, do you know how happy it makes me that Cordero Patterson's in an offense that uses him like that? Because it does hurt, but it's like, that's the guy we drafted.
Mm-hmm.
That was the Cordero Patterson I was freaking out about when he got drafted.
Yeah.
Because I knew he could be that guy. We've always had like the oldest offenses ever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, first and second down, we hand it off. Third down, we throw it to the sticks, maybe. It's like, do some shit. You have Cordero Patterson.
Right.
Do some cool stuff.
Right. And it's like, obviously not to the same extent because Patterson isn't our homegrown kid, so to speak. But when Patterson was in Chicago, watching him try to function with Matt Nagy being like, hey, we're going to try to do this, but then it's going to fuck up and fall apart and you're going to lose 3 yards and look like an absolute dumbass. And then there was that one play where we were wearing like the throwback uniforms with the striped socks and he like made that weird cut and took off. Like that was beautiful. But that happened once.
Cordero Patterson, man.
Like Patterson is that dude. I don't want to call him. He
always has been.
Yeah, he really has. And
he always has been.
It is good to see him in an actual offense.
Because I just remember every once in a while, just as a pure receiver, he'd make a play that it's like, oh my God, that's our guy. And then he doesn't play the rest of the game because, well, he's just a gadget guy that we actually only use for deep shots. It's like, come on. It bugged me so much. Still the greatest thing I've ever seen in real life, though, was his 104-yard kick return touchdown.
That's awesome.
It was beautiful.
So where were we at? You were talking about
linebackers.
Yeah,
we
linebackers.
Just finished linebackers.
Okay. Do we want to talk more about the D-line, or did we just kind of want to touch on it and run with it?
Zadarius Smith and Danielle Hunter. I expect 12+ sacks from both, and there you go. I think they both are getting 12+.
Okay, but what about Harrison Phillips?
He's not a pass rusher.
I don't care. What do you think he's going to do? Tell me right now. I want to hear your Harrison Phillips narrative immediately.
My Harrison Phillips narrative.
Yes.
He is going to be the Vikings version of DJ Reader.
There you go. That's actually perfect. I think that fits very well. I can absolutely see that.
He's just the guy you're going to line up in the middle, and he's going to make sure you cannot run the football.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Dalvin Tomlinson are going to do that. That's why I want Sue. Sue's the other guy who would go get the quarterback with Hunter and Smith. Hunter, Smith, and Sue get QB. Phillips and Tomlinson stop running backs.
Listen.
Game over.
Phillips, Tomlinson, Sue, Hunter, and Smith together on the same D-line is like the equivalent. Let's think of how I want to put this, because I'm trying to compare it to some goofy shit that happens in Madden.
Avengers Assemble.
You know how like when you're playing Madden, you get like the insta sheds just randomly? It would be that, but every play. Literally, it would be that, but every play. It would be the goofy Madden mechanics that when it happens, you're like, that shit's not realistic. What the fuck was that? I got a superstar tackle. That shouldn't happen. But it'll happen in real life if they manage to get Sue.
Because it's Minnesota.
Yeah. Yeah. But
and I mean, the thing is, our offense is crazy, but Minnesota's known for defense. Mm-hmm. We need that.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, we're hyping up this defense right now, right? We're talking about how great it's going to be. If you add Sue, it's going to be even better. If the Vikings win like 8 or 9 games, 90% of the fan base is still going to pin it on this defense because they refuse to acknowledge that Kirk Cousins is bad. Or mid. Sorry.
Even when we lead the league in sacks, again, like we did last year, even without Danielle Hunter and Zadarius Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Got to put that out there. We led the league in sacks last year. Because Mike Zimmer can draw up a blitz better than anyone in the NFL, maybe ever. Zimmer's that dude. I just didn't like him in control of everything else.
Right.
I really wanted him to just like take a step down and stay as our DC.
Right.
I don't know if he would have or would have been willing to. Man, could have been nuts.
Yeah.
But, and I guess the players didn't want him. But yeah, I'm not excited to see the weird narratives the Kirk lovers put out there about our defense. We'll be the number 1 ranked defense, and it'll still be, well, it was that defense's fault. The same thing they did to the Bills.
Yeah.
It's somehow the defense's fault that Patrick Mahomes exists. Like, nobody was stopping that. Yeah. I don't care who you are. Like, it's, I don't know.
I will say.
No.
In defense of the Kirk truthers, or not the Kirk truthers, the Kirk pro-narrative pushers, because as we established...
Kirk apologists.
Yeah, the Kirk apologists, because as we established, you and I are the true Kirk truthers, because we know the real truth.
Yes.
I will say, Minnesota's defense did have one glaring weakness last year, and that was the secondary and the amount of big plays they gave up. So what did they do? They fucking overhauled it completely. Everybody but Harrison Smith, gone. Pretty much. Well, I mean, you kept Dantzler, you kept Pat Pete. I should have rephrased that. Everybody that was bad, gone. And replaced with legitimate high upside players. I mean, just looking at my draft rankings, right? You've got my 5th safety and my 6th corner out of this past year's draft.
Ooh.
That doesn't sound right.
Oh, I don't like you.
That does not sound right for Scene. I gotta double check that. How did I have Scene at 5?
You were the biggest Andrew Booth truther in the world. And you had him at
Booth.
6?
Yes.
You've got to be on drugs.
Listen, I do love Booth.
You're probably one of those nerds who thought Kyer Elam was better, aren't you?
I don't like Kyer Elam at all. I was not a fan.
You probably ranked him higher, though. You probably changed your rankings when the Vikings drafted these guys. They were probably
I swear to God, I did not change my
Vikings,
rankings.
Bro. Fuck this.
Let me double check here, because that does not sound right for Scene at the very least. No, it does. It's right, because I had Jalen Petrie tied with Scene at a 7.7. So he's safety 5 by a technicality. He's technically safety 4B. And then
who was safety 2 and 3?
Hill and Brisker.
No. Brisker is not better than Scene. What did Brisker do better than Scene? He wasn't better in coverage, and he's damn sure not a better, like, Harrison Smith style, go hit the running back guy.
I don't know. Listen, in my defense, this is the first year I went like deep into prospects.
I know.
So my rankings are going to be a little goofy. And already in hindsight, like 2 months after the fact, I'm like, why is he here? What the fuck is this?
Why is he here?
Why is this like fair. This? Like, okay, my top 6 corners, I had Sauce, Stingley, McDuffie, McCreary, Gordon, and Booth tied at 5 with an 8.3.
You had McCreary?
Yeah. Again, he shouldn't have been, but he was.
Yeah, I think I had Booth as my corner 3. Honestly, when the Vikings traded all the way back to 32, which I think you're going to make me get into talking about that eventually.
You need
Maybe
to.
We don't have a lot of time.
Just do it right now. Just do it right now.
So, okay. Thought the trade was really dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly, okay, I didn't think it was that bad initially, but then when we drafted Scene, I was pissed.
Because Kyle Hamilton was right there.
Yes!
He was
We
right
had
there.
Kyle Hamilton. Harrison Smith and Kyle Hamilton is the thing Aaron Rodgers has nightmares about. He already has nightmares about 22, so which he has said. That's not me being an asshole. He acknowledges. So does Bill Belichick. I'll talk about that one in a second. We had Kyle Hamilton. That's what was important. And then when we got to 32, I didn't want Scene. I was sitting there saying, draft Andrew Booth. And then when pick 34 came up and we traded it again, I was pissed because Andrew Booth was right there. Because our corners have always sucked. We had the weird 3-year stretch where Xavier Rhodes was a top 3 corner.
Yeah.
The roads were closed and it was great. And Antoine Winfield was cool, but he was never like that guy in coverage. He was the shortest tackling corner maybe ever. Like, dude didn't miss tackles. So, but we've never really had corners. So it's like, Andrew Booth is right here, Quessy. Fuck. I'm glad we got him. If we would have missed out, I would have been pissed.
Yeah.
But the only thing that would have made that draft perfect to me is if we would have got Chenal.
Yeah.
That would have, that would have been nuts.
Yeah.
But, I wasn't a fan of the trades. Quessy was, I think that was a mistake.
At
agree. Least the first one. The second one I'm fine with.
Let
the Packers move up and get 2 second rounds out of that one. That I was fine with. That's cool. Let the Lions move up 20 spots and all we get is like a second round pick didn't sit right with me. Because we swapped firsts and then we got a second.
Yeah.
We also got a third, but we gave up a third. So like that was just a bad trade. The Lions fleeced us on that
Absolutely.
one.
Absolutely they did. I didn't want to say it, but I mean, you put it out there. So, and I do want to say,
if we traded 12 for those 3 picks without giving anything back, okay.
Different story.
Fine.
Yeah. I want to say real quick, I'm very glad that we established that my pre-draft rankings are already dog shit. So I do not have to embarrass myself going forward. Because if I whip that out in front of Theo Ash and he questioned me on the spot, I would crumble. Because we're going to be talking about the Packers tomorrow, and I had Quay Walker as like LB3. And if I whip that out, I think that's valid. Like, looking back on it, I don't think that's a crazy... I had Dean, Chenal, then Walker, and then Lloyd is 4. Those are my top 4. And I don't think that's insane people talk. So I don't think that would have been too bad.
No.
But something else could have come up. Where I would have been like, I had Christian Watson as wide receiver, whatever, and he's not a big Watson fan. You'd be like,
right?
Well, why?
Why?
Down, and I just shut down.
Especially now with how awful he is so far in Green Bay, he is not looking good.
Yeah,
which is tough.
Which I hate because I like Christian Watson a lot. I was very much a Chicago if Chicago were to trade into the first round, which I didn't want them to, and I'm beyond glad they did not. I was very much if Christian Watson's there and you trade up, I'm not going to be mad about it. But now the dude can't catch anything, and the routes he's running are kind of bad, and basically everything Theo said pre-draft about him taking too many steps on his routes and he can't catch anything was all correct. So
also, since we're speaking to Theo again, Theo, respond to my DM, please. Please.
Yeah.
I just want to come talk about the Packers. Not really, actually. I need Theo to back me up on my Kirk Cousins takes because I know he will.
He's not a Kirk guy. He's not a Kirk guy.
No. So, but let's finish off the secondary before we run out of time.
Right. Because we're cutting it close. We are cutting it close.
We are.
Good
so
Lord.
I think Patrick Peterson is still good. He's not 5 years ago, Pat Pete, where he's a top 3 corner. Absolutely not.
He's a starting caliber guy.
Great for all the young guys.
And he's a good mentor. Exactly.
Yeah. Cam Dantzler, we're both high on. I just don't know where he fits in right now.
Yeah. Because
there's another name I forgot about. Because I had talked about Chris Boyd might be our starting slot guy. Except we went out and signed Chandon Sullivan.
Right.
So Sullivan's probably the starter. So now Dantzler and Boyd are fighting for total corner 4 and slot 2.
Right.
Which is tough.
Yeah.
It's tough.
And that worries me for Dantzler. Because like I said, we were talking about it in DMs and I made my video about him. I love him. And I didn't say it in the video, but I said it to you. I'm not going to say it's my comp for him because like I said, I hate that shit. But he gives me Richard Sherman vibes in the way he plays. Not in the sense that he's ever going to be Richard Sherman. But that same type of not super fast, but physical and smart and will make plays. And lengthy, yeah. And will make plays on the ball. Like, he's a very good corner. Like, his weaknesses are very much outweighed. He knows how to play against his weaknesses. And that is huge for him. And I'm very impressed with what I saw from last year.
Oh, yeah. And it's just like what I told you, though. The thing that will hold him back from being Richard Sherman or on that level is the fact he's not as smart as Richard Sherman.
Yeah, obviously.
Richard Sherman, different level. But you have to be when you're not as fast as everybody. You have to know how to beat them the other way.
Absolutely. But if this guy can be a diet Richard Sherman, I mean, nobody's complaining about that. If his ceiling is like great value Richard Sherman, fuck yeah. Fantastic. That's great.
Especially since he's hopefully going to be our corner too.
Exactly. You don't have to worry about,
hopefully Andrew Booth turns into the actual guy.
Well, I'm sure he will. I don't have any doubt about that.
No, I love Andrew Booth. I'm very high on him. And then, I like Chris Boyd. Pat Pete's still Pat Pete. Chandon Sullivan, good player to have. It's tough. I think Harrison Hand is going to end up getting cut, and I've really liked Harrison Hand. He's never been great, but I don't know. He was just always cool. He's a cool guy.
I feel that.
And then safeties, I mean, we have the future Hall of Famer.
Without a doubt.
I saw on Twitter today people trying to argue that Harrison Smith is making a case for the Hall of Fame. He's not there yet.
He's solidified.
He's there.
Fuck you. He was the best safety in football for how long?
Right. He's been, without a doubt, a top 10 safety for over 10 years. Fuck you. He's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And also, you don't get to be compared by Bill Belichick to Ed Reed and Troy Polamalu and not be a Hall of Famer.
Right. Absolutely.
And also have Aaron Rodgers praise you as maybe the best defensive player he's ever played against. He's a Hall of Famer. There's no ifs, ands, or buts there. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
That one annoys me. I've seen that take too much lately.
That's just goofy. Honestly, it is straight up goofy to even question for a moment if Harrison Smith was that guy in his prime, or if still that guy.
Is why he's not getting the respect he deserves. Because if he played in a place where people cared about in a place where the national media cared about the team, if he played in Dallas, he'd be considered the greatest safety to ever play football.
That wouldn't shock me.
Well, the greatest strong safety.
Right.
Because he doesn't have the coverage.
You got to make that distinction.
Nobody has.
You got to make that distinction.
Because look at the stats in the film. He's closer to Polamalu than people think. Way closer. But
Polamalu, pretty much, at least to me, and I'm joking here, but also not really, the only difference between Polamalu and Harrison Smith, like, that stands out to me, obviously there's little things here and there, but the big thing is that Polamalu had like that sixth sense that he claims was God speaking to him directly during games. But whatever you want to believe, that sixth sense, that instinct, Harrison Smith doesn't quite have that because nobody's ever had that.
No.
But everything else, like you said, it is a lot closer than people want to pretend.
Yeah. Stats-wise, it's close. And then on film, I mean, there are certain things Polamalu did that's wild.
Inhuman.
But I mean,
literally.
The average down, they're the same dude.
Yeah.
And actually, Smith might be better in coverage. At least in their prime, he was. Smith is taken, not a huge step back, but a slight step back in coverage.
When you lose your speed,
mostly
when you get older, it's going to happen. Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. Yep. We said it at the same time. That was perfect.
Yep. Yeah.
All right. Do we have any other players we want to talk about? We kind of touched on Kene and his return ability, how great he is. I saw a Viking.
That Ravens game had me on another level when he returned that kick. So I was part of a Twitch sports thing, so I had to stream while NFL games were happening and like commentate over them.
Okay.
I was fucking screaming his name. I'd been waiting for him to finally play. And the first time I actually see him return a kick, he house calls it. Oh, I was pumped. Fuck it. People were yelling at me. What name are you saying? So I'm just, Kene Nwangwu! Just sounds like I'm making noises. It was great. I don't know how the Vikings always have great returners, but they always do.
Chicago's the same way. We both have that in common, legitimately. Nico tweeted out the other day, we were talking about, he made a video about Peterson, and I said, as a Bears fan, I'm glad I can claim him, jokingly. And he was like, well, whoever the Bears special teams coach is needs a raise. And then he tweeted it out because we were talking about Peterson and Hester back and forth. But let's see here. like I said, I had notes going into this, and we pretty much just hit on all of them in casual conversation, which I expect will happen with most of these. But a couple things. We touched on Kevin O'Connell. Is there anything else you want to say about him?
I didn't love the hire, and I still don't. If we're going to hire a guy who had never called plays before, why wasn't it Eric Bieniemy?
Right.
Why did we not even... Did we even interview Bieniemy? I can't remember.
Bieniemy, I mean, it's come out recently. I don't know if you saw the LaShawn McCoy interview, where apparently a lot of players don't like Bieniemy.
Really?
Apparently he's kind of a hard ass, which is like, I think is fine, you know, as a concept. Like coach being a hard ass.
Minnesota doesn't want him, though.
Is that so? Is Minnesota really like that? Good point, because Zimmer. Yep. Okay.
Just coming off Zimmer, you want the chill dude.
Yeah, okay.
Like Kevin O'Connell seems like he's chill dude.
There you go.
Which could be good, could be bad. McVay and Shanahan both seem like pretty chill dudes.
Yeah.
Very much unlike Zimmer.
Yeah.
And I think part of that is if you're going to be a hard ass, you have to be Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
You have to win.
Mm-hmm.
And Zimmer didn't win enough.
You can't be mediocre and be a hard ass.
So it's tough to get people buy-in.
Yeah.
To get people to buy in.
Yeah.
Belichick, even now if they're mediocre, people are going to buy in because he's Belichick.
Yeah.
You won 6. You're the greatest coach of all time. Mm-hmm. People are going to buy into what he's saying. Zimmer, you won 2 playoff games.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly, still like the second best head coach in Vikings history, but we're not getting into that.
Yeah.
Right now. But yeah, KOC, I don't hate. And I mean, if Bieniemy is really, if players don't love him, I guess it fits.
Yeah.
Like, I guess it starts to make sense why he's not getting, offers and whatever. I also wonder how much of it is just Bieniemy's just waiting. He's got the Kansas City job when Reed retires.
True
so
too.
Why go anywhere?
That's true too. I hadn't even thought about that. That's a great point as well.
That I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Because he knows he's next in line there.
Yeah.
So why go?
Right. I also had just written down strengths and weaknesses, and I want you to take a guess as to what I had as the strengths and weaknesses for the Vikings.
Strengths. Weaknesses, Kirk Cousins and the secondary probably still as your weaknesses.
Yeah.
Strengths, everything else.
I had strengths just listed as wide receivers, backfield, and linebackers. Should have put D-line in hindsight. But I was just kind of including Hunter and Smith as linebackers because they're edge rushers now. Yeah. So that's kind of where I was going with that. Yeah. And weaknesses, I just put Kirk Cousins. Not position, nothing else, just Kirk Cousins. So yeah, I guess
we don't like that.
The only thing left, I guess, to talk about is how do we think the Vikings are going to do as a whole this season? I mean, they're a playoff team.
Because I don't trust Kirk.
Yeah.
If he was another guy who people rank on the same level, if you switched Kirk with Derek Carr, I'd be lifting Super Bowl aspirations.
Derek Carr would take that team to the Super Bowl without a doubt. I don't have a doubt in my mind.
Yeah, no.
You would win the NFC North, probably have the number 1 seed in the NFC, and go to the Super Bowl. Without a doubt. The fact that people put Kirk Cousins and Derek Carr on the same tier is insulting. It is absolutely disgusting. I don't like to use the term underrated for these big name starting caliber players, but Derek Carr is the most underrated quarterback in football. It is disgusting how little credit that man gets.
Dude.
We watched him take an absolute shit show last year, all the way to the playoffs. Granted, they got knocked out in the first round, but they got beat by
the team that went to the Super Bowl.
The Cinderella run. Exactly. They were a part of the Cinderella run. If they went up against anybody else, you put them up against Tennessee in the first round, they're going to the second round. Without a doubt. Yeah. Derek Carr is that
put him up
fucking
against
dude.
Kansas City, I could see the Raiders beating them.
They give him a run. At the very least, it's a good game. It's a competitive football game.
Yeah. I think the only team that could have smoked the Raiders in the AFC last year, even the Bengals didn't smoke them. It was like a 6-point game.
Yeah.
The only team that would have smoked them is the Bills.
Buffalo. Yeah. Absolutely.
Just the Raiders didn't have the talent to Buffalo.
Yeah.
But I think I got a lot of flack for posting this on Twitter. I need to make a TikTok video about it because I want to piss people off. Are we sure that Russell Wilson's the 3rd best quarterback in the AFC West?
I don't think he is. Or actually, I won't say that. I think there's an argument to be made that he isn't.
Right.
I'll put it
that's
that way.
There's an argument that the Broncos went from worst quarterback in the division to worst quarterback in the division.
Yeah. I think Denver's going to lose that division. I don't have any faith in them making the playoffs whatsoever. I think they're coming in fourth in that division easily.
I could see that.
And that's a take I'm going to get flack for.
Their offensive line still sucks, and they lost a bunch in the secondary.
Yeah. And their wide receiver core, it's very much reliant on Jerry Jeudy is the next Devontae Adams. We don't know that. He hasn't done anything to prove that. He hasn't done anything to show that. He's just a good route runner, so he's apparently the next Tay Adams.
And I'm sorry, your defense was top 5 in the league last year, but you lost Ed Donatel, who's now in Minnesota, and Vic Fangio.
Yeah.
It's the same concern I have with Minnesota. You lost the guy that made the defense special.
Mm-hmm.
Is it going to be the same?
Right.
Now, Ed Donatel has proven to be a really good defensive coordinator. I don't know why I thought it was some no-name assistant for the Rams. That's really what I thought.
Well, it would have made sense.
Right.
KOC bringing him over.
Yeah, I guess I just missed, apparently. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm much happier knowing it's Donatel.
Yeah, I would be too.
No-name guy.
I would be too.
I'll take Donatel. He'll do some good stuff.
Like, Chicago brought in, I forget Alan Williams. That's our defensive coordinator right now, which it doesn't really matter because Eberflus is going to be running the defense basically. Like, it's his defense. Sure. Williams is just calling the plays for it. He's the one orchestrating it. So I'm not too worried about it, but it would have made sense to be the same kind of situation because Alan Williams was the DB's coach in Indy. But, yeah, so what do we think? Just, I have written down make wild card, lose first round because Kirk.
So, this is tough. See, I really hope the Saints win their division over the Bucks.
Because that's the only team you could beat.
Yeah, even Kirk beat the Saints in the playoffs. Like, yeah, can we just play the Saints 3 times in the playoffs? Well, I'd feel pretty confident against the Packers.
Yeah. Packers are kind of in shambles right now.
Kirk likes to beat Aaron. I don't know why, but he does.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, we're going to win the division. We're going to get Packers divisional round, beat them, and then we're going to get Saints in the NFC Championship and beat them in heartbreaking fashion again. Because fuck the Saints.
And then you're going to get smoked by Derek Carr, and he'll finally prove that he's better than Kirk Cousins. The storybook ending we all want.
I don't think it would matter who we got in the Super Bowl. We'd get smoked.
Yeah.
Even if our team's better, which our roster is better than most.
Yeah.
But I just have no faith.
Minnesota's just in I feel like that's how we're going to wrap this up. Minnesota is in such an unfortunate situation because it is such a talented football team, but we have zero faith in Kirk Cousins. You put like 15 other quarterbacks out there. Yeah. I mean, you have guys that you would put above Kirk.
Because he's not afraid.
Yeah.
It's the same with Carson Wentz. Mm-hmm. It's the same with Baker. They're just not afraid to leave it out there.
Yeah.
That's the difference to me. Is Kirk better than Teddy? Yes. Do I trust Teddy more? Yes.
Yeah. And I feel like that's an important distinction to make. Because a lot of people look at it as you would rather have Teddy, well, you automatically assume he's better. And that's just not the case. Like, no. Personally, there are, again, wrap it up, bring it back to the Bears. There are probably about 30 safeties that I would rather have than Eddie Jackson. But there are not 30 safeties that are more talented than Eddie Jackson. But he is another example, just like Kirk Cousins, where he's afraid. He has the talent. We saw it in 2018, but he's afraid to let him hang. He really is.
No, he's not afraid. He just gets tired and stands there as Justin Jefferson catches it.
Right. Or when Saquon
My favorite play of last year.
The worst was when it was actually might have even been in 2018. I'm almost positive it was. We were playing the Giants, and Eddie Jackson was the last line of defense against Saquon, and he was just like, "Go ahead, sir. After you." And just let him run by him. Like, it was the most pathetic shit I've ever seen. He lost us 2018, that year when we were the team, and we were good, and everyone was hyping him up. There were like 3 plays that Eddie Jackson cost us the game. And I did not mean to end this video with an Eddie Jackson rant. That was not the intention.
Are we done? We only got like 2 fan questions.
All right,
we are 4 minutes over.
We'll run through a couple more fan questions just to wrap it up. Perfect idea.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll hit you with a couple. I'm not going to answer them. These are going to be rapid fire, all you.
All right.
So we'll pull these straight from Twitter here. Got a quote tweet. That's not a question. Okay. That was not a question. That was just someone shouting me out. Shout out Hunter, Steel City repping. He's coming on for the Steelers episode. We've answered most of these. Like,
oh shit, halfway.
Are the Vikings going to win? Chicago Muse says, are the Vikings going to win more than 10 games? Probably.
Yes.
Strictly Sports Podcast. Who's one player from offense and one player from defense you expect to break out? Cam Dantzler and Irv Smith.
Yep. I wanted to put KJ Osborne, but he had almost 800 yards last year and 7 touchdowns. Like, he already broke.
He's already that guy. He's already...
Yeah.
Taco Spence, who's coming on tomorrow for the Packers episode. How much do you actually trust Kirk Cousins? Not at all.
0.
There's the Alexander Madison question. Thomas White 774 asks, what were their thought on the trade they made at the draft? And we answered that.
Yep. It was not. The first one was not good. The Packers one didn't bug me at all.
Right. Jahan, Offensive Rookie of the Year, who's coming on for the Commanders episode. That's who all these people are. They're people that have already agreed to come on. Impact is Zadarius Smith. Good football player. What did you say? 12 plus sacks you expect?
12 plus sacks, and just free up Danielle Hunter to absolutely feast.
Cinnamon T12 on TikTok asks, there are Vikings fans? Yes.
Sadly, yeah. I don't recommend it to people. As much as Bears fans like to think they are disappointing, they're not.
I would rather
until
be bad
you
than mid.
Experience the wide left constantly thing. I still stand by this. Somebody in the future, when they make a documentary talking about the Minnesota Vikings, it has to be titled Wide Left. Think about it. How many playoff runs? Is that how it ends? How many kickers who were perfect finish the season that year where they were perfect? Wide left. Blair Walsh, Anderson. It's just how it goes.
All right. One last question. We got Striked_22 on TikTok. He asked, thoughts on the Viking secondary, which we already gave. It's improved. Yeah. And how they will fare specifically in the NFC North.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, the NFC North, we lost all our good receivers. They're gone.
The only decent receiving core is the Lions, and I still think we're fine because it's Jared Goff.
Yeah.
And the other biggest thing, especially if we get Sue, but even if we don't, the best secondary is a good pass rush.
Yeah.
And we are going to have one of the best. Barring major injury, knock on wood.
Right.
But we will have one of the best pass rushes. Our corners aren't going to have to cover for 5 seconds. They're going to have to cover for 2.5. That really helps.
All right, I'll give you one more just because I think this one's pretty interesting. Jason16 Allen on TikTok asks, is Justin Jefferson top 10 all-time talent-wise?
No.
I don't think he is either. Not yet.
Talent-wise, you could be able to answer now.
True. I don't know. Okay. I still don't think he's been fully unlocked. That's my thing. I don't think he's been fully unlocked because we haven't seen him without Kirk. I don't know if he ever will be.
He has number 8 thrown to him.
Yeah, true.
Fuck.
That's why I said not yet. Just because I want to see.
Give me death.
Right. I'm saying not yet because I want to see him without Kirk. I want to see how he can perform without Kirk.
I think that means he has to leave Minnesota. We can't afford Kirk and JJ.
I said today on TikTok.
Contracts everybody
listen, I said today on TikTok, Justin Jefferson and Justin Fields would take over the NFL.
He'll never be in the shitty Bears colors. He doesn't want to look ugly.
My brother in Christ, your colors are purple and yellow.
That's the point. It's fucking purple's the best color.
Purple's valid, but you throw yellow in there?
It's gold, thank you. Well, actually, they really fucked it up and made it yellow.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be gold.
It's supposed to be gold, but
gold
it's yellow.
was valid. Gold was valid.
Yeah.
I'm just not a yellow guy at all.
Okay, I know I keep
That's
saying
why I like
how
there's so little of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
one last question.
Keep talking.
One last question.
We're going to totally end this and sit in a Discord call for an hour. I promise.
My boy Night Ranger, who is one of my quite frequent commenters, asks, where does Minnesota rank all time from the perspective of a Vikings fan? So your franchise as a whole, where does it rank all time?
So this is interesting, right? Because if you look into it, I think the Vikings have the 5th most wins of any franchise in
They're
NFL
up there.
history.
They're definitely up there.
They have 0 Super Bowls. I think annoyingly, I saw somebody talk about this, and they were like saying the Browns were better all time because they won NFL championships. So did the Vikings.
Yeah.
Like, the Vikings never won an NFL champ. They did. Multiple, actually.
Mm-hmm.
They just never won a Super Bowl. So I think that's where it gets tough. I could see them as maybe a top 10 team all time, mostly because history.
Mm-hmm.
Like, truly, they are one of the more historic NFL teams. Just like the Bears, just like
exactly.
the Packers, Cowboys, Steelers. Like, even though they haven't won constantly, their name is important to the league history. So I think probably somewhere 8 to 12.
That's valid.
All time.
Just remember that Chicago's above them.
Oh, I agree.
And Green Bay's above both of us.
Yes. New England's probably at the top. New England or Pittsburgh.
I would personally
Dallas,
go...
I guess, might have an argument up there.
Personally,
as much as I hate them.
I think the top 3, and as much as I hate 2 of the 3 teams in this, I think it goes New England, Pittsburgh, then Green Bay, then Dallas, then Chicago. That's the top 5 for me.
That's valid.
I think.
Then I think it gets into Minnesota and San Fran and other teams I'm forgetting off the top
Giants
of my head.
Would be up there.
Giants, Broncos probably up there as much as it pains. Raiders, for fuck's sake. Yeah. Oh my God. Poof.
Well,
yeah. So, yeah.
Okay, I left this on there as well. Do you have anything else you want to say? If you want to plug your stuff, go for that. Anything you want to do here to end us off?
Oh, do I cheap plug it? Do we cheap plug it? Just follow me at TheGeekSlays literally everywhere.
It'll all be in the description.
If it exists, I'm probably on there. Yeah. I thank you a ton for having me on. It's always good to get to talk about the Vikings.
Yeah, of course.
Most people don't care about them. So
I don't care about them, but I got to do this for all 32 teams, so.
I just get annoyed. All of my TikTok comments are like, what do you think about all of these teams? It's like, come on, guys. See, I'm the one Vikings fan on TikTok.
Why I don't do that.
Me about them.
That's why I don't do that. I just pull random tweets. Bears tackle does good at minicamp. Time to talk about it. Like, I force myself to talk about the Bears. Like that. Yeah. That's all you got to do.
Well, now I do have a huge topic with Ndamukong and Suh. So we'll take that. We'll take that.
Honestly, just start ripping clips from this and like stitching them and elaborating on your thoughts. This will give you content for like the next month and a half.
Oh my God, it absolutely could. That would be hilarious.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Well,
but no.
That is going to be our first official team preview. 1 out of 32 down. Like I said at the beginning, I wouldn't have rather done this with anyone else to start off. I had to make sure I did it with someone that I knew I could get a full episode out of without it derailing or getting awkward.
I mean, it might have derailed a little.
It derailed a little bit, but it wasn't too much. We stayed within... We're 11 minutes over. 11 minutes.
And it's also more of it's easy to... You're still watching. Like, we weren't suddenly talking about Star Wars.
Right.
Like,
we kept it within the confines.
It just, it went to a couple other teams for a couple other reasons.
Right,
it happened.
Right. And that I expect that to happen from here on. Like I said, I know I will be bringing the Bears up every chance I get. That Bears episode is going to be a blast. But just to give you guys a little insight of what's going to be going on, I think I'm going to be posting these every other day once they start to get recorded. Like I said, I'm posting this a week after it gets recorded. But we're starting out with the NFC North, then going to the AFC North, then to the AFC East, then to the NFC East from there. I haven't decided yet. We'll figure it out. But that's going to be it for this first episode. Next episode will be the Green Bay Packers. That should be fun. Like I mentioned before, we've got Theo Ash coming on. We've got Jake Talk Sports. And we've got 2 of my buddies that follow me on TikTok. I'm not going to shout them out right now because I don't... see, that's going to be weird for me because when I'm shouting people out when they're on the episodes, a lot of the people aren't content creators. So I'm going to be like...
Fans.
I'm going to be joined by Dave. Who's Dave? He's a fan.
Who's Dave?
He's a fan. But yeah, I suck at outros. Good Lord. But that's going to be all. I'll see you guys in the next team preview